Hey everybody, Leo here. I am the founder, owner of Neighborhood Nerds. And since it's a different kind of model, there's nothing really out there that is like it. I thought I would take a minute just to explain to you what it is and how it works. So Neighborhood Nerds started off as residential consumer electronic tech support. Members would pay a monthly fee, and the nerds would come out to your house to help you with your ring systems, your audio video systems, your computers, your printers, networks, whatever. We kind of evolved from that to more of a concierge service. So you pay this monthly fee and you have a bunch of these smart college kids. They're all on the path to some kind of career in technology. They're probably going to be engineers, physicists, computer science majors, stuff like that. So you pay your monthly fee, and these young people get to work on helping you solve whatever the request is that you have. So some of the requests that we get, people offload calling Comcast for them, or making a hotel reservation somewhere for them, or researching products and services, or they might have them, like you may have some devices around your house or some old technology, a film camera. We have a member that has a scuba diving camera, and he wanted the nerds to figure out how the thing worked and write up a Gizmo guide for it so that he didn't have to spend the time doing that. Basically, your membership gets those things off of your plate so that your nerds can take care of it for you. It saves you some time, gives you peace of mind that these young people, this whole team of young people, are on your side. We have, the way we've divided it up, the way I built it is we have remote help nerds. So these are the nerds that we set up with a phone, we set up with a computer and a headset and everything, and they're kind of a distributed call center. These are all people, we call it neighborhood nerds because these are young people that are from the neighborhood. They are very much like you. They grew up in families like yours. They're in an accredited college. They're on their way to some kind of career. This isn't the end for them, so they don't get bitter or, they're always eager and happy to help. They also speak the same language as you. They also are very empathetic and caring to your, our first world problems. That's always an issue that I pick up on whenever I'm dealing with a call center that's not in the country. Is the level of empathy. Which makes sense. I mean, there's different problems around the world, different levels of problems. But our nerds treat any problem you have, any request you have, any need you have as urgent, important, and they're very empathetic to that need. So we have the remote help nerds that answer the phone. And if they can help you, they're going to help you. So if they decide in the next 10 or 15 minutes I can solve this problem, it's going to be a one-touch kind of thing, and they're going to knock it out and take care of it. If they can't do that, they're going to schedule an outside nerd if necessary. So an outside nerd is still a bunch of college kids. They are distributed more like a Uber model. So they get paid when they go do a task for a member. And you may have them come to your house to diagnose a problem with your car, help you get your garage door open, help you find your dog. I mean, you can use the nerds for whatever you want. You're just paying $40 an hour whenever they come to your house to do something. Those nerds would be dispatched, scheduled and dispatched, and then at your convenience, they would show up and do whatever. We also have inside nerds that work in the member center. The member center, we have one right now that's kind of the prototype because it's in my building and I'm able to control everything about it. So it's in the middle of Sequoia Hills. It's at 1202 Kennesaw Avenue, 37919. That front store space there, that storefront space, is set up so that you can walk in. It's kind of like a coffee shop. It's kind of like a neighborhood bar, kind of, a library, whatever. You can walk in and get help from the inside nerds anytime. If you're a member, you walk in and you get help. You walk in and use the space. So you don't even have to engage in nerds. If you just want to come in and use the internet, have a quiet place to sit for a little while, get a cup of coffee and get something done, you can do that. The goal is to have those member centers everywhere. So we want to have member centers, all over the country. kind of like on every corner near every neighborhood is the goal. We also have the inside nerds, which brings me to that. The inside nerds work in the member center. So if you come in and you need help, you just walk in and the inside nerds take care of you. They'll help you with whatever. You can schedule appointments with them, and the remote help nerd might do that, might schedule an appointment with the inside nerds. Now we also have something called the Technology Center, which is separate from the Neighborhood Nerds model. If possible, we leverage third parties to get things done, but when that's not possible or they're not good at what we want them to be good at, we'll use our own Technology Center. And our Technology Center does things like replaces batteries, configures and sets up devices, configures cameras before they bring them over to your house. They will replace screens, like whatever you need done, recover data, transfer data from one hard drive to another, anything like that, one device to another. Now we will also use like Batteries Plus, or we'll use the Apple Store or anything. And for those kinds of things, you will get a recommendation that has some cost associated with it. All of the other stuff is under your membership. So if you do an all-inclusive membership, you get unlimited access to remote help nerds to ask them for anything or instruct them to do something for you. You get unlimited access to the member center, come in anytime you want. We're even looking at ways to make it 24/7 where you can come whenever there's not any nerds there. And you have, if you have the all-inclusive, you have unlimited access to outside nerds that will come to your house to help you diagnose issues or help you with something that was working that stopped. You can't use the membership to have the outside nerd come over and wash your car or mow your yard or something like that, or install audio video equipment. That would be a recommendation. That would be more of a project outside of the scope. But we just don't want you to worry. Like if your printer's offline and it was online, it's the same printer, it's been there, just call the nerds and then outside nerd will come over, no charge, and they'll take care of that for you. We kind of say if you live more than 15 miles from a member center, which we only have one right now in Sequoia Hills, but whenever we have multiple, if you live more than 15 miles from a member center, you should just do the remote help option, which is $39 a month. If you live in the neighborhood, the $69 a month is probably a pretty good deal for you, because then you're in control of that $40 an hour spend whenever you have somebody come over and do something for you or help you. If you are like me and you just say $100 a month isn't that big a deal, and I don't want to be nickeled and dimed, I just want to say, hey, this is offline, that's offline, whatever, or I need to, this was working, or I need you to come over and give me some advice on this, then that's part of the $100 a month plan. Now, whenever you sign up, you're going to come to the website, and we try not to, we don't want to make you feel awkward or intimidated or pressured whenever you come to the website. So we only work with members, but we understand if you're in pain and you need help right now, you don't want us pitching you on a membership. You need someone to take care of your immediate issue. Now, I'll tell you right now, disclaimer, that's not how we're best suited. We're not mercenaries. We're not tech support gurus. We're not IT gurus. Our nerds always follow a methodology, always follow the same processes and systems and standards. So the secret to our success is our membership, that we know you. We came in and did our initial discovery visit. We documented a lot of things, and we built plans off-site to understand, to know, and communicate to all the other nerds how we're going to take care of you in the future, so that we're never reinventing that wheel. We always have all of the documentation in front of us, and we're all working from that same documentation. That also keeps you from repeating yourself all the time. Like, all you have to do as a member, the nerds will know you no matter where you are, what member center you're attached to or anything. So if you're down in the Keys and you text the number and say, hey, I need some help with this, or I need to find a place like this, or my phone quit working, or I'm wanting to watch my Netflix shows, I'm down in the Caribbean wanting to watch my Netflix shows and I can't get them because it says my computer's not in the United States, the nerds can fix that for you. We will do a VPN and get that all set up. Anyway, back to the point. The main thing we want you to know is that we are always there for you. The membership works best for everyone involved because it allows us to know who you are, what you're really trying to accomplish, and then look for solutions for you. We want to get you out of the driver's seat of trying to make decisions about what kind of technology you should have and like looking at reviews and star ratings and stuff like that. We want you just to talk to the nerds. They're on your side. They're your advocate. They're your caretaker. You're paying a monthly fee. Let them take care of it. But like I was saying, if you're new to the model, this is going to be very strange to you, right? So if you have a problem, cracked iPhone screen, malware, a hard drive's dead or a battery's dead or something like that, you don't want to call us and then get pitched on a membership. So the nerds are instructed not to do that. What the nerds are told to do is we have an option on the website that is $79 for a new neighbor. And that's a way for you to see how we work. We're going to demonstrate how we work with you, how we communicate, how we engage, how we collect information, how we are always asking a lot of questions and listening to you and hearing you, and then providing a solution that fits you best. So for $79 flat fee, we let you kind of test drive being a member. You'll see what it's like to be a member. So whenever you come to the website, you talk to a nerd, you can text, call, whatever. You're always going to pick up the phone and talk to a nerd. Ask them about that. Say, okay, I'm not convinced on the membership yet. I don't think that's what I need, but I want to try things out. So you do the $79. Now, when you come back, again, which we have a lot of people that try it for $79 and come back, then the system's going to know that you were a new neighbor at some point and you tested the system and we did a good job for you, and you even gave us a 5-star rating. You gave us a real happy, smiley face rating. The nerds then are going to say, well, before we can take care of you this time, let's get you signed up for membership. And then you need to decide what kind of membership you want, what level. Something else about the membership that I want everyone to be aware of, the nerds are aware of this, but I want you to hold us accountable also, is that we communicate and engage with you all the time. We want to be very reliable and very predictable in the way that we care for you. So I created something because I'm an engineer, I'm an electrical engineer, background in process control systems, manufacturing, all about continuous improvement processes and lean and all of these ISO, like all kinds of standards and processes, and like getting to the nth degree of efficiency and perfection out of things when possible. So I've designed systems for the nerds to follow. One of them is Gizmo Circle of Care, which you can find in our Gizmo guides. The Gizmo Circle of Care is there. And it's got 6 steps. So every time that you deal with a nerd, when you have a request, they're always going to go through these 6 steps. They're going to go through discovery. So they're going to listen to you patiently and kindly and empathetically. They're going to ask you lots of questions about, well, when did this problem start? Has it always been a problem? Is it a new problem? Unless they know those things, because once they know you and it's something that you're asking about and they know about it, they're not going to ask those questions. They're just going to make notes. But they're going to, ask you, when did this stop working? What changed from when it was working to when it wasn't working? How do you know? What do you know? How do you know when it's working or when it's not working? What does it look like to you when it's working? What does it look like to you when it's not working? Those kinds of things help them to come up with a plan for solving the issue, the request, because members are not technical people most of the time. So there's a big disconnect between a member and the manufacturers of the technology. The manufacturers or the makers or the builders of the services or solutions. So the nerds bridge that gap for you. So they're the piece that's in between the service providers and the manufacturers and the population. And for our members, they do translation back and forth. So you don't have to deal with Comcast or Sprint or any of those people that talk in a whole different language and tell you your Flugel binder is crooked and that's why your modem won't sync. You don't need to hear any of that or even want to understand it. Just tell your nerds, I can't watch Netflix. And the nerds will go to work doing whatever. They'll fuss at Comcast. They'll figure out if cables are unplugged or if you don't have an account or whatever is needed. So they're going to follow that. So step one, long story. Step one is discovery. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions. Step two is plan. They're going to go off and they're going to plan, come up with a plan, and they're going to write that plan down and they're going to send it to you as a recommendation. And then they're going to review that plan with you on that recommendation. So you have a written recommendation that says, we recommend that you come into the member center and you sit down with an inside nerd for a one-to-one, and he's going to show you or she's going to show you how to do this, that, and the other thing. And that is no cost to you other than the 1 hour that you're going to spend with the nerd. Or they may say, we recommend replacing the old technology you have for your Wi-Fi with this new, mesh router, an Orbi or a Velop or an Eero or Google's Nest or whatever. And this is what it's going to look like. Here's what the hardware is going to cost, and then it's going to take 2 hours of nerd time, so $80 of labor, and they're going to come out and do that for you. And then you have the opportunity then to decide, do I want to do this, or do I want to live with this, or do I want to just dispose of it and not have this in my life anymore, or do I want to do it myself, even, like following the guide that the nerd just gave me. Whatever you do, you decide. If you decide that you want the nerds to implement it, you just tell them, and then the next step is implement. So they've done discovery, plan, review, now they're implementing. Then after that, they do educate. So they're going to educate you on, this is how this new thing works, this is why we changed it, and they're going to tell all the nerds about it, and everybody's going to be educated. Like everybody that knows you is going to know about this new way of doing things for you, and it's going to be in our system. So we use HubSpot. It's a CRM, customer relationship management system, and it has all of the information about all of our members. So that any member center that you walk into in the future, they immediately know who you are, what you're about, how you like to be treated, how you like to be talked to, everything. Now, after they do that education, they're going to write a Gizmo guide. And a Gizmo guide is something else that I created for them. That is a standard layout of kind of like a how-to guide to do things. So it has like prerequisites and estimated time to completion. How do you know what's going to happen whenever you're done with this? What does that look like? Who is the audience for this? All kinds of stuff. And then it has images and text and everything that are step-by-step instructions on how to do something. And that's just yours to keep forever. So you can build like this whole library of these Gizmo guides, which turns out to be this user's manual for everything in your life, like how you do everything, right? Now, the next step is maintain. Step 6 is maintain in Gizmo's circle of care. So we always do discover, plan, review, implement, maintain, and then, educate and then maintain. So maintain means you're going to continue to be a member of ours. We want to keep track of some of this stuff for you. So we're going to, around this request, we're going to put some photos in of the new equipment, model numbers, serial numbers, install dates. We're going to have all of the white papers we can find, any URL links that we need, so that the next time that the next nerd is helping you, they're not having to ask you all these questions. And they're also not having to do all of this research. They're going to have everything sitting in front of them in the system. So every time we do something for you, we build a whole new support, documentation and links and materials and everything to be able to efficiently care for you next time. So that's what they do. Now I created something else for them that's kind of a workflow for their request. So when a request comes in, they run through Gizmo Circle of Care, but inside of that system-specific steps, the first thing they do is they clean up the name of the request. So a lot of requests come in a format that the member has said what they need, which is good, but it's also sometimes off the mark a little bit, because what we've learned is members don't know what they don't know. So they can't phrase the questions the right way because they don't understand it at all, and they have trouble like even researching it or Googling it on their own, which is why they're a member. So the first thing the nerd does is they clean up the name of the request. So to make it clear to everyone, they'll put your name and a hyphen and a real description of what the problem is, what the request is, what we're trying to get at. And then they'll update the description and they say, hey, this description is like if you left a voicemail or you sent us an email, we'll leave that in there, but the nerds will clean it up for the nerd that's actually going to be doing the work so that they understand this is really what's happening with the member. Next, they will send a confirmation. Well, they'll do some association inside of the system. So they want to make sure that this request is correctly associated with you and your family or your company or whatever, so that we got the right associations, connections in the system. And then the next thing they'll do is they'll send you a confirmation email. So they're going, and it's not one of those canned emails that a lot of support systems send you. It's like, hey, we got your request and we're working on it hard and da da da. It's going to be a real email from a real person. The remote help nerd, most likely, or whoever took your request, is going to send you an email and say, this is what we heard, and this is what we're doing right now. And then they're going to send you, and you can talk back and forth. So that confirmation email also gives you a way to respond with more information, or tell them you solved the problem, or the problem went away, or like whatever you want to tell them. And that keeps it attached to that same thread inside of our systems if you respond to that. Now, if you call in or text or chat or anything, they will get that connected to that same request. It's just that it's more manual manipulation then, because they have to verify, like, is this a new request or is this an existing request, and does that information need to be added? Then they're going to send you a recommendation email. So you're going to get a written recommendation of what they want to do. And this is what the nerds say. This is what we recommend after 2 or 3 different nerds have looked at it, or even some senior level tech support that's behind the nerds looks at it. And this is what we recommend. And then you decide if you want to do that or not, and you implement and everything, and then they do all the implementation and they do all the education and maintenance and all that jazz. Then the last thing you're going to get is a recap email, so that they kind of close the loop on it and say, here's the recap, here's all of the things we did during this request. We heard you, we solved the problem for you, or helped you with whatever you were wanting to do. We documented everything, we updated our systems. And then here, if there are any charges, this is what we agreed to in the recommendation that we're going to charge you, just to make sure, again, double checking, we don't want any surprises. We're going to bill your credit card on file this amount that you already agreed to in the recommendation process, so it shouldn't be a surprise anyway, but we want to make sure that you're clear of that. And then the next thing that'll happen is that ticket will close and it'll automatically go to billing. Billing will charge your credit card on file. And even at that point, you get an email from billing saying, hey, here's what you were charged and here's why you were charged, and it's got a reference to the request number that's in our system. So that's how things work. We also have tech talks, and we have quick tips, and we have podcasts, and we have blogs, and we have lots of information out there to try to really support you, really help you, really keep you independent and as knowledgeable as you want to be. We know that most of our members aren't wanting to learn a whole lot about this stuff. They just want to do the things they want to do, and they want the technology working for them instead of against them. They also just need help because they don't want to waste time doing things that they should not be doing. A lot of our members' time is worth, hundreds of dollars an hour. So, it's much better for them to offload a task to a nerd as part of the membership, or as a nerd even at $40 an hour, instead of spending any of their time working on it. So, it's long-winded, a lot of information, but I wanted to really just kind of explain why we're here, what we're doing, how we've changed a little bit from the consumer electronic model and the tech support model to more of a concierge service, because it was that from the beginning anyway. I mean, that's how the members started using us very quickly, because it's a very trusted resource. It's a lot of really nice, happy, healthy kids that are all about helping you get the most out of your life. So just wanted to let you know that. Again, I'm Leo, and I'm the founder of Neighborhood Nerds. I have some partners in Neighborhood Nerds. I have Mark Armstrong, Zane Hagee, Jim Hart, and we all bring something a little special to the table around this model, and we're hoping that it's really working for you and you're loving it. And we'd love to see a bunch of these member centers all across the country taking care of people everywhere, maybe even around the globe. But that's our goal, and we hope you're happy. Thanks.